Okay, so if you're a plant owner, you know this feeling. You think you're doing everything right, and then you see it, that dreaded yellow leaf. It's such a frustrating little mystery. But don't worry, today we're going to put on our detective hats and solve the case of the yellowing leaves.
Yeah. Does this look a little too familiar? That pale, kind of sickly yellow creeping into an otherwise healthy green leaf? It's one of the most common SOS signals a plant can send. But what is it actually trying to tell you? Well, let's follow the clues and solve this thing together.
All right, every good mystery needs a proper investigation, right? So we're going to start by identifying the potential culprits behind this crime against your foliage. Think of this as our evidence board, where we'll line up all the usual suspects.
First things first, let's give this mystery its official name. The condition is called chlorosis. It's really just a sciencey way of saying the leaves aren't making enough chlorophyll. You know, the green pigment that powers photosynthesis. Without that green stuff, the plant can't make its own food, which, yeah, is a pretty serious problem.
So what actually causes chlorosis? Well, we've got a lineup of 5 main suspects here. Moisture stress, not getting the right nutrients, issues with the environment, unwanted visitors like pests, and sometimes it's just plain old age. We're going to investigate every single one to figure out who the real culprit is. Let's start with the most common offenders. I mean, more often than not, the culprit has something to do with your watering habits, or it's just part of the plant's natural life cycle. These are always the first and easiest clues to check.
Go ahead, you can even pause and check your plant right now. Stick your finger about an inch into the soil. What do you feel? Is it soggy and wet, or is it kind of dusty and bone dry? The answer is our first major clue because, and this is key, both overwatering and underwatering can lead to yellow leaves.
Let's look a little closer at the evidence. If you're overwatering, that soil is going to be waterlogged, and the yellow leaves will feel limp, maybe even a little mushy. But if you're underwatering, the soil is dry, and the leaves get all crispy and shriveled up. One is a crime of too much love, the other is neglect, but both end up with the same result.
You know, the real danger with overwatering isn't just the water itself, it's about what that water does. When the roots are just sitting in water, they can't get any oxygen and they literally start to drown. This stagnant, swampy environment is also a breeding ground for root rot. That is why good drainage in your pot is absolutely 100% non-negotiable.
Now, before we get too worried, let's clear one suspect's name right off the bat. Good old age. If it's just 1 or 2 of the oldest, lowest leaves on the plant that are turning yellow and falling off, while the rest of the plant looks fantastic, you can breathe easy. That's just the plant getting rid of old parts to make way for new growth. Totally normal, case closed on that one. Okay, so if water and old age are off the table, it's time to widen our investigation. We need to examine the scene of the crime, your plant's environment. You'd be surprised how often the clues are hiding in plain sight.
So here are 2 huge environmental clues to look for. First, light. Take a look. Is the yellowing happening mostly on the side of the plant that's away from the window? That's a classic sign it's not getting enough sun. Second, think about temperature. Is your plant sitting next to an AC vent or a drafty window? Those sudden cold shocks can really stress out a plant, causing it to turn yellow and drop leaves almost overnight.
All right, time to get a little more scientific. Put on our lab coats. If the obvious clues haven't solved it, we need to do some forensic analysis. Let's dig into the actual chemistry of your soil and water, because that's where the hidden evidence often is. You know, this quote I found on a forum from a gardener named Hoofy, it just hits the nail on the head. It points to a really common but often overlooked problem. So many of us use tap water, right? But depending on where you live, that very same water can actually change your soil's chemistry and make it harder for your plants to eat. Okay, so here's where the science gets really interesting. Most of our plants, they love slightly acidic soil, somewhere in the pH range of 5.5 to 6.5. That's their happy place, where they can easily soak up nutrients. But our tap water is often neutral or even alkaline, with a pH above 7.0. And when you keep watering with alkaline water, you slowly but surely raise the pH of your soil. And this creates such a frustrating problem. Even if your soil is full of all the good nutrients, a high pH can chemically lock them up, making them totally unavailable to your plant. It's like putting a padlock on the refrigerator door. The food is in there, but the plant just can't get to it. It's basically starving in a pantry full of food. And this right here, this is the smoking gun for one of the most common issues caused by high pH, iron deficiency. See that? How the veins of the leaf stay dark green, but all the tissue in between turns yellow? This very distinct pattern is called interveinal chlorosis, and it's a classic sign your plant can't get iron, most likely because the pH is too high. So, we've covered the big culprits, but sometimes our main suspect has accomplices. Now we gotta check for any unwanted visitors that might be crashing the party and causing trouble. I need you to get in there and take a really close look, especially under the leaves. See any of that fine, spider-like webbing? That's probably spider mites. What about tiny green or black dots? Those could be aphids. These little guys suck the sap right out of the leaves, causing those yellow spots. And also keep an eye out for viral infections. They can look like weird, blotchy yellow patterns. If you even suspect a virus, get that plant away from your others, like right now. Okay, we've examined the evidence, we've identified the suspects. Now it's time to close this case and get your plant a solid recovery plan.
So, here's your plan of attack, your 4-step diagnostic plan. Number 1, always check the watering. Number 2, assess its environment. Is it getting enough light? Is it near a draft? 3, if those aren't the issue, it's time to investigate your water and soil pH. And finally, number 4, do a thorough inspection for any pests. Run through this checklist and you'll cover all your bases.
And hey, for those of you who think it's a pH problem, here's a pro tip. If your soil pH is high, a regular iron fertilizer probably won't work. It'll just get locked up too. You need a special kind called chelated iron, specifically one with EDDHA. This special form of iron stays unlocked, so your plant can actually use it even in that alkaline soil. It's a direct fix for the problem. And there you have it, the case of the yellowing leaves. It's not a mystery anymore. It's just a series of clues waiting for a good detective, like you, to interpret them. You are now officially a plant detective. So go on, head over to your plants, take a closer look, and ask yourself, what's the very first clue you're going to investigate?